The global air power community has been gripped by reports that Pakistan Air Force J-10CE fighters achieved a lopsided 9-0 sweep against Qatar's Eurofighter Typhoons. This unverified claim, originating from the 2024 Zilzal-II joint air exercise, quickly transformed into a heated debate across digital defense ecosystems. Social media narratives assert that the Chinese-built fighter secured multiple victories in both beyond visual range engagements and close-in dogfights. While neither air force has officially verified these metrics, the rumor has reignited scrutiny over Western fighter competitiveness against emerging Eastern hardware. For a technology-focused analysis, we must separate marketing hype from the actual engineering realities of both platforms. On paper, the Eurofighter Typhoon remains a massive heavyweight within the 4.5-generation fighter category. Qatar's advanced Tranche 3A variants feature twin Eurojet EJ200 engines that enable sustained supercruise without consuming excessive fuel. The platform utilizes the Captor-E AESA radar, which is designed with a large aperture and a repositionable matrix to maximize its field of view. When paired with the ramjet-powered Meteor air-to-air missile, the Typhoon commands an immense no-escape zone during long-range engagements. This hardware synergy ensures the European fighter excels in high-altitude, networked battle spaces, where range is the ultimate advantage. Critics often claim that Chinese AESA radars are simple and structurally less complex than their sophisticated Western counterparts. However, modern semiconductor physics reveals that China has made significant leaps by heavily adopting gallium nitride, or GaN, technology. While early Western AESA systems relied on mature gallium arsenide baselines, GaN allows Chinese radars to operate at much higher power outputs. This engineering shift directly translates to extended target detection ranges and vastly superior resistance to electronic jamming. Consequently, the KLJ-7A AESA radar inside the J-10CE is an advanced sensor backed by a cutting-edge domestic supply chain. The Chengdu J-10CE is a lighter, single-engine multi-role fighter optimized for high agility and cost-efficient mass. It couples a single WS-10B afterburning turbofan engine with a distinct canard-delta aerodynamic configuration. This design philosophy grants the pilot exceptional nose-pointing authority and rapid energy management during low to medium speed maneuvering. For its primary offensive punch, the jet relies on the PL-15E missile, which features a dual-pulse rocket motor to maintain high-energy states at extended ranges. This specific combination of a nimble airframe and an energetic missile creates a formidable threat profile in tactical environments. The discussion surrounding the J-10C true capabilities moved from simulation to operational reality during the regional border crisis of May 2025. Reports citing United States officials indicated a high probability that the Pakistan Air Force deployed the J-10C during this high-intensity standoff. Unofficial defense publications claimed the platform achieved notable successes against competing regional assets during the escalation. However, these specific combat outcomes remain heavily disputed, as opposing regional forces have officially denied any losses. For an objective technology analysis, this deployment serves as a case study in operational readiness, rather than definitive proof of platform dominance. To understand how an unverified lopsided score could occur, one must analyze the inherent constraints of military training exercises. Simulated air combat rarely mirrors unrestricted warfare, as scenarios often impose strict altitude caps and force starting positions to test specific skills. If the Zilzal-II architecture restricted the engagement to within visual range dogfights, the Typhoon's long-range radar and Meteor missile advantages were instantly neutralized. In a close-in knife fight, the high instantaneous turn rate of the J-10CE and the tactical proficiency of Pakistani crews could easily dominate the heavier twin-engine jet. Therefore, Exercise outcomes typically reveal design biases and localized tactical choices, rather than universal platform superiority. Beyond the physical hardware, both fighter jets are locked in a fierce global defense market, where reputation acts as strategic currency. The Eurofighter program faces structural headwinds as core developers like the UK and Germany reduce reliance on the platform to fund the F-35. Concurrently, unverified industry reports suggest Qatar may negotiate the eventual transfer of its newer Typhoon fleet to Turkey closer to 2030. Meanwhile, Beijing aggressively leverages narratives like the 9-0 sweep to market the J-10CE as a peer-level alternative to expensive Western jets. Ultimately, while exercise rumors drive free marketing, true air power superiority depends on the total integration of sensors, weapons, and pilot doctrine. Treating military exercise scoreboards as direct predictors of wartime outcomes is one of the most persistent mistakes in defense analysis. Air combat training simulations are designed to validate specific tactics and expose operational weaknesses under controlled, artificial conditions, rather than determine absolute platform superiority. History repeatedly demonstrates the danger of overinterpreting these results, as aircraft that dominate one scenario often underperform when engagement rules change. In the case of the alleged 9-0 J-10CE sweep, crucial variables like airborne early warning support and electronic warfare parameters remain completely unknown. Without this vital contextual data, a localized training score provides very little analytical value for predicting actual combat effectiveness. Modern air warfare is increasingly decided by complex data links, network-centric command structures, and advanced sensor fusion rather than raw aerodynamic traits. A pilot operating a technically superior airframe can still be defeated if the opposing force commands a more effective integrated targeting architecture. Therefore, the critical analytical focus must shift from the raw numerical score to the specific operational conditions that allowed such an outcome to manifest. Until these training parameters are publicly disclosed and independently verified, the alleged sweep remains an interesting marketing data point rather than conclusive proof of superiority. While spectacular scoreboards easily generate media headlines, it is integrated military systems that ultimately secure wartime victories. The available evidence does not support the conclusion that the Eurofighter Typhoon has become obsolete, nor does it prove that the J-10CE has completely surpassed its Western competitors. What this global controversy demonstrates instead is the rapid narrowing of the technological gap between established Western aerospace giants and China's mature defense sector. The J-10CE successfully combines advanced GaN-based AESA radar technology, highly energetic missile systems, and a nimble airframe into a formidable modern package. Concurrently, the Eurofighter Typhoon remains one of the most capable 4.5-generation combat platforms in active operation today. The European fighter maintains a distinct operational edge, particularly when deployed within a fully networked battlespace, supported by mature airborne surveillance assets. Ultimately, the larger lesson of the Zilzal-II controversy extends far beyond the physical specifications of either aircraft. Modern air combat is no longer determined solely by engine thrust, instantaneous turn rates, or isolated radar detection ranges. Success increasingly depends on how effectively a military force integrates electronic warfare, airborne early warning, and secure data links into a unified combat architecture. Within this highly contested environment, individual fighter aircraft function as distributed network nodes rather than independent instruments of victory. The future of global air superiority will inevitably belong to the force that can securely process information and execute decisions faster than its opponent.